Welcome to the world of political conspiracy, where the public narrative is often just the tip of the iceberg. Did you know that the helicopter carrying President Raisi was a top-notch medium utility helicopter packed with safety, security, and emergency features? Today, we're diving into the mysterious helicopter crash involving President Raisi of Iran and exploring the secret scenarios that lie beneath the surface. Imagine this, a top-notch helicopter, the Bell 412, soaring through the sky, carrying high-ranking statesmen, President Raisi, Foreign Minister Abdullahian, and the governor of Azerbaijan province of Iran. This isn't your average helicopter. It's packed with advanced features designed to navigate even in the most challenging conditions like fog or mountainous terrain. Suddenly, something goes wrong. The helicopter, escorted by two others, doesn't make it to its destination. Instead, it vanishes into the fog, and it was only found after many hours of search with the help of a foreign-aided drone, leaving behind a trail of questions and sparking a flurry of speculations. The Bell 212 and its enhanced version, the Bell 412, are indeed widely used around the world by both governments and private operators. They are often referred to as workhorses in the international, commercial, and defense sectors due to their performance and inherent versatility. In terms of safety ratings, the European Aviation Safety Agency has conducted a joint operational evaluation on the Bell 412 and recommends its approval. When we searched the records, we found that the number of crashes involving this type of helicopter is actually quite low. After scouring the web, our team found only 2 of such incidents. Moreover, it's important to realize that helicopters used for government transport, especially those carrying major politicians, often have extra advanced tracking systems in addition to the ones that the manufacturer offers in terms of GPS reporting and navigation. These can include extra transponders that electromagnetically report their location at any time, and they all must be fire and crash resistant. But surprise, surprise, according to Turkish Transport Minister, whose team played a crucial role in finding the aircraft's remains, Raisi's helicopter never emitted a signal. Interestingly, the helicopter carrying Raisi was escorted by 2 other helicopters. If a regular crash had happened, you'd think these 2 would stop to search for the crashed helicopter, or at least would report where it landed, right? But they didn't. This has led some to speculate that Raisi's helicopter might have been damaged or exploded in the air, scaring away the other 2 escorting aircrafts, or they just chose to leave the scene. Adding more to the skepticism, the news about the crash came out bit by bit but contradicting. At first, Iranian state media reported that the helicopter had a rough landing with minor damages. Then they changed the story and said some people got killed. They even mentioned an emergency meeting of the National Security Council with the presence of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, but then said no meeting was held because Khamenei wasn't there. Finally, they said they didn't know if Raisi was alive or dead because they didn't know where the helicopter had landed, and they asked their supporters to pray for his health. In the meantime, one of the officials responsible for the search group mentioned they were able to talk to one of the passengers through his mobile phone, and him saying he could hear the emergency vehicles approaching the location of landing. However, another official soon after denied this statement. And we eventually find out that they were all harshly burned to death, making the identification of their corpses impossible. Although the official narrative said that the bodies were burned so much that they couldn't be identified, these bikers who reached the scene before anyone else mentioned in an interview that they identified the bodies of all the famous ones, including Raisi. This interview was done by a state TV reporter, though it has not yet been broadcasted on state TV, but rather on an online channel which is known to be not completely in line with the state propaganda. Remember, all these news and reports were coming out from the early afternoon on Sunday all the way to the next morning, while the other two escorting aircrafts, which could have reported what exactly had happened, safely had reached their destination in less than an hour. And while the transponders and GPS system of the helicopter should have been continuously reporting the location of the lost helicopter. In addition, it was reported that the people of Warsakan, a city a few miles away, had heard some sounds. Yet it was not mentioned what kind of sounds. But considering the distance, it must have been the very loud ones, like the sounds of multiple gunfires or explosions. And in the end, a Turkish drone had to find the exact location of the crash in a country where its army and some international experts claim to have the most comprehensive and inclusive types of drones in the Middle East. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the geopolitical context. We know that Raisi was coming back from an official opening ceremony of a dam built cooperatively with Azerbaijanis near the border of Iran-Azerbaijan. But here is where it gets interesting. Azerbaijan shares a deep strategic cooperation with Israel, the biggest enemy of the Islamic Republic. This cooperation, which has been going strong for over a quarter of a century, touches on national security issues of the highest importance to both sides. In fact, this alliance has factually bothered Tehran's officials numerous times, leading them to clearly and widely complain about it and even warn Azerbaijan. The defense relationship between these two nations goes far beyond just arms sales and technology transfer. They have cooperated on the establishment of Azerbaijan's indigenous defense industry. In fact, Azerbaijan demonstrated an innovative use of Israeli arms during the 2020 war, helping them to regain the Karabakh region from Armenia. Israeli intelligence has helped Azerbaijan combat Islamist organizations that threaten President Ilham Aliyev's rule. In return, Azerbaijan has provided a logistical platform and crucial support for Israel in its efforts to counter Iran's nuclear weapons program. Interestingly, the news about their relationship is often kept under wraps. Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev once compared his country's relationship with Israel to an iceberg. 9/10 of it is below the surface. Given this backdrop, one might speculate that Mossad or Israel was behind the crash as Raisi's helicopter was coming back from the Azerbaijan border, where he also met Ilham Aliyev. Moreover, we also know how Netanyahu has been trying hard to expand the current Israel-Hamas war and drag the USA's foot into the conflict by encouraging an Iranian direct response into war. One of these attempts was significantly made recently when they attacked the Iranian consulate in Damascus. Remember, Israel never admits to its hands on any foreign terror, including this one. But politicians often send messages like that to each other. Now it depends on Khamenei to decide how to play the rest of the game. Never forget that Israeli officials have threatened officials of the Islamic Republic and its proxies numerous times, telling them they will not be safe even in their own country. But could there have been another person aboard the flight of death, apart from Raisi, who might have been of particular interest to Israel? Indeed, there was. Abdullahian, the foreign minister, known for many years as the foreign minister of the Quds Force, a branch of the Revolutionary Guards or IRGC. Abdullahian has been at the forefront of foreign missions, primarily aimed at reclaiming Jerusalem from Israeli sovereignty. For over a decade, Abdullahian has been the key figure coordinating the Iran's proxy fighters. Interestingly, he maintained this role even during the term of cabinets that were politically opposed to Abdullahian's faction. Therefore, eliminating this guy could be of a high strategic value for Israel. But wait, there's another twist in the tale. Some political analysts are pointing out a potential internal power struggle within Iran. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei's health has been a topic of discussion in recent years. There have been reports suggesting that he might be near his death due to cancer. This has led to speculations about who might succeed him. Mujtaba Khamenei, the second son of Ali Khamenei, is seen as a potential successor. On the other hand, President Ebrahim Raisi is considered a potential successor to Khamenei too. Given this backdrop, some political analysts speculate that there could be a power struggle between Mujtaba Khamenei and Ebrahim Raisi for the supreme leadership of Iran. In this context, the helicopter crash involving Raisi could be seen as a part of this power battle. However, the possibility of this scenario could be very low in the eyes of some, as Raisi always played in the team of Khamenei and never challenged his authority in any way, unlike the other Iranian great politicians and ex-presidents such as Rafsanjani, Khatami, and even Ahmadinejad, those who either got sidelined away from power or mysteriously died. This possibility becomes even less likely when we consider that Raisi was in fact Khamenei's chosen candidate in the last presidential election. Many political analysts have described this election as engineered, with several famous and somewhat more popular potential candidates being disapproved by Iran's Guardian Council. Nevertheless, you might argue that the person favored by Khamenei might not necessarily be favored by his son or other political forces in the Islamic Republic. This becomes particularly interesting when we learn that the entity responsible for selecting the next supreme leader was supposed to select their chairman 48 hours after this incident. Raisi was considered a strong contender for the chairmanship. This speculation gains more traction when we realize that the last time around, the chairman of this entity played a key role in selecting Ali Khamenei as the second supreme leader of Iran 37 years ago. Moreover, an unpublished source with connections to the Al-Mahdi Guard, a branch of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard assigned to secure Iranian politicians, has anonymously stated that the helicopter initially carrying Raisi was switched with the previously leading escort aircraft just before their takeoff from Azerbaijan due to some technical issues. After their takeoff, the tailing escort aircraft reportedly saw smoke coming out of Raisi's helicopter. But when the tailing aircraft tried to hover around Raisi's helicopter to see what's going on, it quickly went down the foggy valley and lost sight of it. This unpublished inside news, if true, could strengthen the theory of an inside job or a betrayal possibly programmed by foreign forces. Now, what do you think? Which scenario is more possible? An internal struggle, a foreign terror, or just an incident? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till later, peace.